So if you happen to be watching live on YouTube, you can chat. If you log in, you can chat and start asking questions, and I'll be able to reply. I'm getting better at actually looking at the chat window. I know in the past I was pretty bad. I was ignoring them sometimes, but I'm getting much better, and I think I got it finally. Okay, so in this tutorial, oh, by the way, let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So greetings, this is Eduardo Jumbo. In this tutorial, we're going to continue on the JavaScript barcode detection API coding. In this case, we're going to actually get the country of origin. So I want to be very specific that this does not mean that that's where the product was manufactured. It just means that the manufacturing company's country of origin. In most, I don't want to make assumptions, but it's a good indicator of that the product was manufactured in that country, but has no bearing for where the product was actually made. I'll give you a quick example here. I'll use some products. For example, I'm lucky in that this product we're going to test, I know for a fact that it's usually made in the US or Canada. And this one I know was actually made in the States because I actually called them up and they confirmed it. So in this case, because the company, it's called PC Organics, that's a Canadian company. It's a brand for Loblaws. But I know that they don't actually manufacture things themselves. So they obviously outsource this now. So that's good. That means that the place where it's actually manufactured was in the States. So when you read the code, we'll be able to understand that. So I also want to, in case I forget to mention later on in this tutorial, I only got a few countries. That's because for my particular use case, all I care about is just a few countries, usually US and Canada. However, if some of you care about other countries, say the Asian countries, especially China or others, you can find the codes for that. So I just wanted, the process will be exactly the same. The same functionality will work exactly the same. But I just want to show you that's the purpose of this tutorial, is to show you how you can use this information. And obviously, I think when I got my codes are actually very dated. They're very, very old. They're from like the Soviet times. So obviously, there's been changes since then. For example, the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. It's most of the stuff was taken over by Russia. Obviously, the other countries broke up. So that's what I'm trying to say is that that's why I decided to only do US and Canada, because I know that those ones have not changed since when the Soviet Union was still around. So that makes it easier for me. But I'm saying if you're going to use this to make a viable app, just be sure to get a more updated list. Okay, so before we continue, I just want to let you know that I produce a live stream every single day. You simply go to jumbo.com, you watch the watch menu, then the live, then you can see the current and upcoming live streams. So you see there's also the channel and the approximate date and time. So for each one, for example, this one right here, the one we're doing today, which is called JavaScript read barcode country of origin. You see it's going to be on YouTube, and this is the date and time. And you can see there's always a code snippet when before or during the live stream. It will show you up here, it will tell you the date, the day and the time. And so it gives you two options. For example, if we click this link, I'll click it right now. You see the link will take us to YouTube, where you'll be able to watch it. And obviously you can proceed, if you're logged in, you can also participate live by asking you can chat live. If you don't want to do that, you can simply scroll down, scroll the way down to the video part here, and you can just watch it. So for example, here, I can just hit play, and there you go. You can just watch it there without having to go to YouTube or any other channel. Okay, so this tutorial was inspired by the current 2025 spring, I guess, trade war going on between the United States and Canada, and where some Canadians are obsessed with finding out where the products are manufactured. So this this could be very helpful for people like that. But I'm saying even for you, for me, I've always wanted to know where some of the products are manufactured, especially like when I used to buy stuff from the grocery store, like honey. I would always want to know where it's coming from. So as I said, like sometimes if you have a lot of time, you can call the number at the back and ask them where the stuff is. But sometimes if you're in not necessarily a rush, but you don't have time for that, you want to buy a whole bunch of groceries, if you could just scan them quickly and it would tell you, you would have a better, hopefully make a better purchasing decision. So I just let you know that UPC codes are usually just a North America, US, Canada. I think they might or might not be used around the world, might be slightly different. In the European Union, they use this one, EAN. It's very similar to the UPC barcodes, though that's the 1D, which is just vertical lines. And in the previous story, we also did QR codes. Those are 2D, two-dimensional. So it doesn't matter if it's two-dimensional, one-dimensional. We'll be able to scan and we'll look for the specific code. So I'll tell you what code we're going to be looking for. So there's a non-profit organization, and they're the ones that I think it's called GS1. Oh, here we go. Yeah, GS1. So GS1 is a non-profit international organization assigning unique numbers found in barcodes. So as I said before, the barcodes can identify the country of origin of the manufacturing company, but may not indicate where the product is made. Just be aware of that. Okay, so for this GS1 codes, just a quick summary of 1D, that's one-dimensional, and you can read up here in the glossary. It's linear, and the 2D. So we care about this one, GS1 composite. So what that means, it's two-dimensional barcode, two components, the top, which was for the batch codes or expiry, and the bottom for the item identification number. So we don't really care of this. We'll be able to read, because the Barcode Detection API, we'll be able to decode whatever is in the barcode. Okay. So for testing purposes, I have 3 scanning devices. I have the Sony Xperia X01 Auto. It's an Android device. It's came out in 2017. Then I have the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE 5G that came out, I believe, in 2021. But it wasn't available then, so it really came out in 2022. But that's my daily driver. And then I have this Logitech HD webcam C525. This is just almost, it's not quite generic because it's a Logitech, but I've had this this is actually my longest device of scanning. So this will be what will be used for the desktop. Now, because the detection API, it only works, I believe, on Android devices. It might also work on iOS devices. So by default, but it doesn't work in the desktop web browsers. So you need a polyfill. If you don't know what a polyfill is, I explained right here in the glossary. So a polyfill implements a new standard feature that is not natively supported. So in the desktop browser, it's not natively supported, so we will use the polyfill. Now, I'll also show you a trick to use polyfills so that you do not, you don't just put them if they're not needed. You conditionally add them, and I'll show you how to do that in the code. So I think we're pretty much almost ready to go. Also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. And basically, you see this is the can here. It's a can of chickpeas, and you see usually has a barcode. This is a UPC type barcode. You can see, you can tell it's 1D, it's just vertical lines. So when we scan this, it will give us some information where we're looking for the manufacturing company's country of origin. So that's the purpose of this tutorial. And so as you can see, I took some screenshots here from the phone. And you see I scanned it here, and it tells us here, you see it says UPC-A composite, then it says United States. So now we know that this was made, and I know it's made in the United States. So this was from the phone, and we can also do the same thing from the desktop. So just to be clear that when you use, because we need permission to use the camera, so it will request permission. So you need to grant them, whether it's on the desktop or it's on the on your phone or mobile phone or tablet or any device. Okay, so now Luckily, when you're doing testing, if you're on a local host, you don't need to have a secure certificate, SSL certificate. So that's why I could simply just drag it into the desktop and you can do it. But as you can see here, if you do need to test on other devices on your network, you will need to create an SSL certificate. You can use a self-signed certificate. I have lots of examples on how to do that. So you can use Sterno. For example, I'm just using PHP. Sterno will serve any web server that doesn't have an SSL functionality with it. And you can also make QR code using this lib encode, or you can use Zint. You can make your own barcodes. I've actually created a video for both of this separately, so you can watch that as well. So let's get started. I'm going to open up I'm going to open up the terminal here, and then you're going to see the folder here. So in this particular case, I think I'll just call it, not sure what I should call it. Actually, I also have NetBeans here. What did I call the one last time? QRcodes.html. Okay, maybe I'll give it a better name. So I'll create just a folder here. Okay, so I'll say touch. Say, I'll call detect country. That's a pretty long name. Country, origin country. There we go. Detect origin country. Origin country.html. So it's just an HTML file which will open up in NetBeans. And then, as I said before, if you want to make your own QR codes, you can do that using, you can make QR code, but I think the best thing here would be to use Zint. So if you remember, we had the Zint Barcode Studio, which I used last time. So for example, here, I think you can go to here, see GS data. You can make one of these ones, the GS data, and just put the country and stuff here. Now, I'm not too familiar with how they actually look like. So, here, GS1 Canada. Oh, I didn't know you could. I think I actually did this myself. So then it will actually detect it and the country of origin. So I just fooled around this, but I'm not 100% sure. Actually, you can even add a 2D. Oh yeah, so you can make it a 2D component. I don't know. I'm not sure how actually the format is. Maybe when we look at the when we actually look at the can of chickpeas, we'll probably be able to create your own. So you can use a like Zint Barcode Studio. This is the GUI. You can also obviously do it on the command line, make your own, and make your own. For example, just put Zint on the command line, and you can create your own. For example, if I want to make a QR code, I just say QR code. Yeah, we did this in the last tutorial, so I'm not going to spend time on that. So let's get this out of the way. And we can drop this into here. And let's get started with the coding. So let's put this out of, actually, I'll just minimize this. And there we go. Okay, I'll zoom in. Come on. What is going on? Okay, there we go. Zoom in. So let's get started. We need some, just a doc type. Let me see which time it is. Okay, so let's create a doc type. HTML. Then it'll just be some HTML tags. Okay, then we need a head section. So in the head section, just put a title, and I'll call this country of origin scanner. And then I'll just add a meta for the viewport, just in case you're on a mobile device. This will just change the, I'll set the content width device to this, and initial scale to 1. That's what that is. Okay, then might have to zoom. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here because this makes it difficult to, yeah, okay, there we go. So go to the body. So in the body, we're going to create an I tag. And then we're going to create a emphasis tag. And we'll call a B tag as well. And then finally, we'll create a video. And we'll set the attribute to muted and plays inline. This is needed for iDevices, otherwise you won't be able to preview anything in the video. So then we can start with our script. Okay, I'll zoom down here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. You should still be able to see that. Yeah, there we go. You should be able to see that. Okay, so I'll make this self-executing. Okay, then I'll just create some variables here. This one is to grab the stream so that in the future, if we want to stop it, we can by using this next variable, which will be the interval ID. Every time you create an interval in JavaScript, it saves an ID. It's an integer, so that's how we'll be able to stop the playback of the video. And we actually don't. Okay, I'll just. This is JSON to keep our the data for all the GS1 codes. And then finally, this will be our interval length. So we're going to make it run every 1 second or 1000 milliseconds. And then finally, or not finally, but yeah, we get the video elements. So query selector, so video, and we're going to do the same thing for the rest. So we're going to do the B, and we're going to do the I, and then we're going to do the EM. So we go here. So this should be B, this should be I, and EM. These three, we will not use these three variables in a future tutorial where I'll show you how you can just overlay all the content. Okay, next we'll get some constraints for the video, or for the media. So all we care about is the video, and ideally we only want to get the back facing camera, or the camera facing the back. So facing mode, so we use ideal. Obviously, like for example on the desktop where I have a plug-in one, it doesn't have like a back facing camera. So that's why we use ideal. So if you only have one camera, you use whatever camera you have. And obviously after that, we don't need audio because all we care about is video. So we just set that to false. Next, it's our format. Now, if you remember from the last tutorial, it refused to work unless I put more formats here. So we'll grab all the formats then. So this is just in an array, so I'll just copy and paste this so I don't make a mistake. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, we have the ones we really care about are going to be this UPC and ones, and obviously the EN13 and EAN, sorry, _8 ones. Okay, so when we're done that, next we can start with the very simple, let me see how much time it is, 21 minutes. Okay, I think I might have to copy and paste this so I don't waste too much time. Okay, so down here, this is just from leftover from the last everything is exactly the same. So, but I will explain it. Okay, I'll zoom out a little bit as well. There we go. Okay, so navigator, media devices, get user media. So obviously this is the visitor or whoever is using the app. And then we're using our constraints here. Remember the constraints, it's up here where we set the audio to false and ideal facing mode. To environment, environment means the back. And then to get the stream, remember that first variable created, so we set the stream to that. And then the video, this is the element, the source object, we set it to the stream, and then we set it to start playing. We start playing immediately. Or autoplay, if you will. Autoplay will not work on iOS devices. That's why you need to manually click. You can do this because this requires user input to get the permissions from the user when they accept to for the camera to be used. So that's why you're able to do this as a workaround. Okay, next what we're going to do is I am going to create a function here, and I'll explain this function. I'll explain it twice. So what happens is some of these codes we're using, they have a range. It's not a simple number. I'll explain this when we actually look at the code. So they have a range. So we need to split the range. We need to split it and then go through each of them. So I'll give you an example. Like for the United States, it will say 001 to 019 as a range. So this is what this will do. This will actually go through the range. For example, 1 to 19. So this should make sense here. This is obviously the arguments I'm passing in, and then what happens is it checks to see if n is less than that range. So for example, let's say the code scans as number 18, and this particular range is between 1 and 19. So obviously it matches here. So you can see n, that's the number 18. 18 will be greater than or equal, for example, if it starts at 1, it will be greater than 1, which is correct, and then 19. So it will also be less than 19 in the range. So that's how we'll be able to, this is just a simple code snippet to run that. And then the next one I'm going to create is, this is the one who will actually check the country. Okay, so I'll explain this. Again, we pass in two variables. We pass in a string, and the string will be what the barcode has detected, and the CDS, that's our, I guess, our map, all our values to check. So what we need to do is we will need to convert, because everything is going to be a string. So actually, let me copy this. Time is actually going way too fast here. I need to copy this and explain it as well. Okay, so what we do is we take that string, and then we're going to, because it's going to be a very long string, so the string could say something like, if I go back here, do I still have one of these pictures to explain it here? Yeah, you see like this one. So you see, it's going to say, for example, it's gonna be 0, 6, 0, 3, 8, 3, and etc. So what we want to do is we want to grab the first three characters, 0, 6, 0. So that's what we're doing here. We're slicing it. So we grab the first three characters. Then what we do is we check in the JSON. We haven't created the JSON object yet, but we'll create it. So what we do is we check to see if that number exists, because sometimes the numbers might exist. If it doesn't exist, that's what this means. It doesn't exist. So what we do is for that data, we'll go through each of them, and then we'll split. We split them by this hyphen, which means the range. Then we map it to a number, and then in that number, you see, that's why we go back to this function we created here. We pass in the actual number, which is the sliced from the barcode, and then the bunch of numbers. And then you see that's how it will fit into this range here. And if it does, then we output it to the inner HTML, and basically and the JSON match, the country match. Okay, so that's good. Now we can actually get started on the, pretty soon we will do our detection. Okay, so we have a try here. Okay, so here in our try, this is where I'm going to paste the JSON object, because it's one of those things that actually I think I should copy. I think I'll just copy everything here. The try part. Okay, okay, and I'll explain this. Zoom out a little bit so I can explain this as well. So this is what I decided to do. I decided to create this JSON object. So there's country is the key, the first key. And then inside them, you see I have these keys. This is what I was trying to say. You see, for example, the first one here, the range is 001 to 019. So basically 1 to 19. And then as you can see here is we have, that's the UPC underscore A compatible. That's United States. And then there's this one, which is the within your geographical region. So this one, I'm just assuming it's United States as well. And the 30 to 39, that's United States drugs. So this one is useless to me because I'm not going to buy any drugs. But if you want to know where they come from, you will know. And then this one, 40 to 49, this is also a restricted one. So most likely these are not in use. And this one, 50 to 59, is GS1. So remember that non-profit, it's US reserved for future use. So and then 60 to 99 is UPCA compatible and United States. Now, do you remember the can I showed you? If we go back here, remember 60 to 99 is United States. So if you remember here, so this is 060. So this is from the United States. I said I did confirm this by calling the phone number. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, so I actually did call this. So this is manufactured in the United States. So that's how I can confirm this is correct. And then obviously if it's 100 to 139, it's also United States. So then I just picked some random countries, like, see, for example, Bulgaria, it's pretty easy. It's 380. And then in Canada, we have two, it's 754 to 755. That's Canada. Mexico is 750. So if you want, you could easily, obviously, create your own JSON file and make it this 1 to 19, or say basically 1 to 300 and 1 to 139. You could say the United States. So I didn't want to do that because the file would get way too big. So I could just write a couple functions. So just one function is 2 or 3 lines of code. And I will be able to do this. So if they update the list, I can just put the list here. Now, there are way more countries. I said this is just a short form just to get you to understand how this actually works. In that now you know that if you ever see if you're in Canada and you only care about Canadian products, this is what you look for. If you're Mexico, you care about Mexican products, it's this one and this one. So there's more, for example, I think in the UK, they also allow 4 characters. So as I said, like you would need to maybe check the 4 characters or stuff like that. I said in my use case, all I care about is really US and Canada, and this works very, very well. Okay, so then what I do here is, because I know it's country, so what I do is I make them object keys, and I filter for the ones which have a hyphen, sorry, not a hyphen, a hyphen. So for example, you see here Bulgaria and Mexico, they do not have a hyphen. So what I did is I grabbed the keys which do have a hyphen, and I put a comment there. So if you want to read it, it says country coder. Okay, and then this is from the previous one, the barcoder. We get the supported formats. So as I said before, so web browsers will not have all the formats. So you need to check to see which formats are available. So what I did is I create an array here, and what I do is I loop through my formats here, and then if the format is one of the supported formats, then I push it into this array, and that's, you see, that's why the format now becomes this kept array, and that's the one we actually use when we do the barcode detector format. And what I do is I also output them here to the formats. Now this is just for just to show you how it works, but if you don't want that, if you maybe want to show yourself or another way, you can make it a little bit prettier, maybe have like a drop down and say, okay, so we don't support that format, you can, these are the only formats supported. But I said this app is probably going to be for myself, so I don't really care about that. And this is the interval. I said the JavaScript, every time you use set interval, it always creates an integer ID. So we save that integer ID because later on we might need to stop this. So way to stop the interval, it's clear interval, you need to have the ID. So maybe we can have a button or something later. And then obviously the detect. So the detect, the source will be the video. So then what we do is when something is detected, so what happens is because it scans continuously, sometimes there will be nothing. Because for example, if you just put a white piece of paper or just some random lines, it's not going to detect anything. So the trick is to you can what I did, I just stringified the whatever has been detected, and then if it's not equal to basically an empty array, then what I do is I clear the B element, and then what I do is I go through each of them and I get the row value. The row value is the one we want, so I put it in the emphasis tag, and then in the bold tag I will show I'll JSON stringify it as well, just for you guys for the tutorial. And then you see I can run the check country. See, I take the R keys and I put the our BC sorry, the row value. Now that's our country detector. Now I'm sure you guys can obviously see a problem here. I don't need to tell you. So so this one there's a problem here because, I mean, for my use case, as I said, all I care about is US and Canada. However, let's say I have a product, which I don't, but let's say I had a product like this one, say Bulgaria or Mexico. So in that particular case, what I would do is instead of passing the keys, I would probably pass the, I would pass the, my function here, this check function, I don't necessarily need it already works. I don't just need to. So what I would do here is, so this should actually be changed. So what I should say is I can pass the entire JSON, what is it, this JSON object. So what I should do actually here is it should be if let me see, does it do anything here? Oh yeah. So yeah, see, it returns. There's a little problem here. So what I should do is I should run it twice. There's no if statement. So I should run both of them. So I should run actually the JSON. This is what I should actually do. So to run the JSON, and so basically when it runs the JSON object here, it will then oh yeah, I don't have a function here. Oh yeah, so that's actually a mistake. So I should actually run this. Oh yeah, this is what I should do actually. Oh yeah, that's actually, yeah, actually that does work. So if it's not, yeah, so there's no function here. So yeah, that's what I should do. What I should have done is, I'll show you what I should have done actually. I should have, yeah, this function should actually be tweaked a little bit. So so that's actually not correct. Yeah, so this is what should happen. Yeah, so this is what should happen. So when I do the slice, what I should do is you check to see if it exists inside the, if it's a property of the JSON object. If it's not, then this is what I should do. You see, if it's not. But if it is, I should say else. Yeah, then I should go up here to the, I think it was the I inner. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so I can just, yeah, so what I should do is, where is our function here? Yeah, it's a B. So, yeah, so the B here, so the B should be JSON and, which is based on num, like that. So basically, let's say I had a product which was from Bulgaria or Mexico, then instead of just grabbing the keys which include the hyphen, so this would work. So this is how they fix that. So you learned something else there. Okay, so then this is just a try catch. If there's an error, we just output it to the console, and then our bit here, remember we set it to 1000 milliseconds, or which is 1 second. And then we have another try catch here. So this catch is for, oh yeah, we have another try catch here for the JSON object as well, and the barcode detection. Okay, and then we are almost done. The last thing we need to do is to detect, I think I can type this. So we need to have a conditional check for or conditional loading for our polyfill. So what we do is we grab the polyfill and we put it into an object. So I'm getting one from Fastly, this CDN. Okay, and I just put it into an object called barcode detector polyfill. You can name it whatever you want. There'll be another try catch here. So what I do is we check to see if we're able to use the window barcode detector, get the supported formats. If we are, then great. Otherwise, what we do is we're going to set the window barcode detector, which if this polyfill is needed, basically this part should fail, 122 on a desktop, at least in spring 2025. And then what we'll do is see, we set it because it won't exist. So we set this to the this one here, so to our polyfill. So this is how you conditionally create a polyfill, use a polyfill. So this way you don't load a whole bunch of stuff. So that's one of the problems I dislike about most of the tutorials you see online. They will tell you, oh, just put a polyfill there. But then if it's not needed, why are you loading so much, so much stuff? You don't need it. So then after that, what we're going to do after the try catch. We then go to our decode for our decode function or dec here, and then now if it's actually not needed, so what we do is we need another condition here. So we say if it's not barcode detector in window. This is another way of writing basically this thing here. In window, then we'll launch our LMD function here, which is, that's a conditional one. Else, if it exists, for example, on a mobile device, we go here. Now, the polyfill will also work on mobile devices if it's very old and they do not have the barcode detector. So this is how you load a polyfill. You can use this same thing to load polyfills any other way. Okay, so this is done. Now I'll show you how if we go back to our web browser here, and we should be able to simply just drag this. You see? And now it's asking for permissions. Get rid of that. So I'm going to say allow. And this is the webcam on the desktop. So I'm going to take that kind of chickpeas, and you should actually see, and you see these are the detected ones. See, those are the 13, so detected all 13. This is using the polyfill. So next, what I'll do is hopefully the lighting is good enough and you'll be able to see that. That should be pretty good. You see that 063. So it didn't detect it. I might have made a mistake. So let's see what's going on here. We go to the console. Yeah, there are 8 errors. It says failed to detect invalid state. So it says on line 112. I don't think that's a problem here. I don't think that's a problem. So I will try that again. I didn't change anything, so I don't think I made a mistake. If I did, I'll probably have to come on, focus. There we go. So you see here, you see in the raw value here, it said 06038. That's the one we did here. So this number, I think I did it too quickly. So this number here is obviously from the states. Why didn't that work? Is there another problem here? Let's check it out. Oh yeah, it says string slice is not a function. So it says on line 112. Oh no, oops. Let's go back again. Line 103. Okay, string. So this is wrong. It should have been BC raw value. I'm sure you can obviously get that. So let's go fix that. So this should be BC raw value. There we go. Now it should work. I'll just do a hard refresh, reload. Okay, so let's try it again. There we go. So you see here, it says UPC underscore A compatible United States. So this kind of chickpeas the company manufacturing company's country of origin is United States. Now I know, as I said, I called Loblaws to confirm that this kind of chickpeas is actually made in the United States. Basically, the chickpeas they're American, and it was also created, canned in the United States. So I said I know that, but I said this is one way you can check. So you can create your own app. So in the next tutorial, in this series, I'll show you how, instead of outputting everything here into this, you will make it a little bit prettier. I mean that when you're scanning, you'll be able to see the, there will be a little overlay and the results will be right there instead of having this. But this is good because you'll be able to see what is actually being output. So this is also good for testing. But I said we'll use all this information in the next tutorial. And you can, I said you can watch. You go live in the watch menu, live sub menu, and you'll be able to see right here. You see there's an overlay detected barcode, and that's going to be on YouTube, and you see the estimated date and time. So be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. So as you can see here, I didn't use the phone, but this app will also work on the phone for you. And I think that's about it. So everything I use today is obviously open source. As you can see here, you can create, you can use LibEncode to create the QR code. You can use Zint, and I showed you the Zint Barcode Studio. You can use Sterno and PHP. I didn't use this because just localhost, but if you want to use them on your device, whatever, this is how you can have this with a self-signed certificate. You can also use the ADB if you're on Android to use localhost there. You use the port forwarding. And of course, I also use NetBeans IDE, which is also open source. And basically, the conclusion is the Barcode Detection API is browser native and designed to detect and decode barcodes using a device camera or video input. It supports 13 barcode formats, including the most popular QR codes. So a polyfill can be used for web browsers that lack native support. So the polyfill is not just for web browser, desktop web browsers. You can also use it on any web browser that lacks the Barcode Detection API support. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, consider supporting me. Purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. You can enroll in my programming courses at ojamboshop.com. Buying my programming books on Amazon, search for ojambo, links in the description. You can hire me for your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com. And you can also become a donor at ojambo.com/donate. You can see it right here. All the better is actually in the header. There's a donate button here, and it's fixed, so you can just click it any way you want. Okay, so that's it. I think I'll stop, and I'll see you guys in the next